Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on New Pokemon Snap. Now, as you know, New Pokemon Snap is meant to be a on-rail first-person photography game that was meant to be a sequel to the 1999 game of the Nintendo 64 game Pokemon Snap that I did cover. And keep in mind the game was released on April the 30th, 2021, and the premise of you is meant to follow you as the player traveling into the Lentel region and also using a on-rail hovercraft much like the first game. And the premise of the game is meant to be you helping Professor Mirror and his associates in sort of learning the secrets of the Lentel region and the reason behind the Lumescence Pokemon. And pretty much the premise of the game is almost similar to Pokemon Snap, where you're going to take pictures of certain Pokemon, you're going to kind of be on a hovercraft, using your sort of skills and that. And I think this is where I think New Pokemon Snap tried to copy itself too much. Like, obviously, yeah, you've got the hovercraft, and the only difference is that it kind of shrinks down to take pictures of Pokemon, but much bigger. And I would also say, yeah, some of the items you do have in the game are almost too similar to the first one, like having Apple, and instead of having the gas balls, you kind of have the Lumescence balls once you scan what you can. And yeah, you can even use it to help you find another part in a certain level. And I think for the most part, I would say, yeah, I do give it credit that it is trying to extend the other islands. But I think there was a lot more I would have liked to have seen, because obviously, yeah, I would say Forests is a little similar to what they had in mind for the first game, Fantastic Horror. And I think, yeah, obviously, when you got an area called Volca Island, it's almost similar to the volcano part in Pokemon Snap. And obviously, when you've got the beach-like area, it's kind of similar to Miracosa Island, copying obviously the beach part in the Pokemon Island thing. And I think there was a lot more I think some of the islands could have been, like having a sort of giant market area to take pictures of Pokemon, maybe in the sky, taking pictures of flying types, maybe kind of have a sort of pool area where you can take pictures of, like, Pokemon like Rattatas or Grimers and that. It really seemed like the game had real potential. And it just feels like, yeah, with the luminescent Pokemon, I give it credit that it gives you a challenge. It gives you something to do. And like I said, some of the Pokemon that you are meant to take pictures of really do put up a challenge, like Steelix, also Marganium, and so on. And yeah, I think what's interesting is you actually do have Todd in new Pokemon Snap as a sort of callback to the first game, showing him now older and having his own students. I think the problem is, yeah, I think the biggest fault I would say with the game comes down to the music. I feel like there was a lot more they wanted to do with the music, but were probably told they couldn't really do what they could. And I think what made the sort of songs in New Pokemon Snap work, some of them actually had a good theme, like Tunnel having this really creepy but kind of factory feel, Beach having a more tropical kind of feel, Valley kind of having this Texas ranch feel. It just feels like the music does take away what was intended. But I also give New Pokemon Snap credit that it is doing more with the Pokemon, more ways to try and get a better shot, more ways to help you progress. And I think as well with New Pokemon Snap, I give it credit that it is trying to do more with the Pokemon in the game, showing how to kind of get past a certain level, how to get a good shot, how to bring them closer. And I think yeah, I think is that, well, New Pokemon Snap isn't a bad game. It just feels like there was a lot more that could have been done. It just seems like, yeah, New Pokemon Snap kind of copy and pasted Pokemon Snap, just adding Pokemon Island with a bunch of other islands and not doing anything creative with the other ones. The only thing that was new was Snowfields as well as the ruins. And it just feels like, yeah, trying to find a legendary Pokemon does remind me of the whole Rainbow Cloud thing. And the thing is, yeah, there's a lot more you can do with a sequel game. And again, I know the team behind New Pokemon Snap did mention that there was a lot of attempts to try and do a sort of Pokemon Snap sequel. And yeah, I can kind of see where Hayuki Saki was really wanting to kind of make this work. I think there was a lot of attempts with the Wii in that, but it just feels like, yeah, the game is just a copy and paste version of the first game. So I think New Pokemon Snap definitely deserves a thumbs down. Well, not the worst one. It just feels like there wasn't any real efforts put into it. It just feels like some of the levels seem like they're trying to be too similar to the first game. The thing about doing a sequel game is showing your audience you can distance yourself from something and do something newer and fresh. I think this is the reason why I think Gold and Silver, as well as when Until Dawn finished, yeah, they actually did a new game, but doing it something different with wolves and that. So, this is my review. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.